Alright, so in the last video we actually UV mapped our model, and these are our UVs, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to texture it. Alright, so these are our UVs here, and I'm going to be showing you how to texture it. This is actually a remote. This is what its UVs look like. We had two other videos before this, a modeling video and a UV mapping video, so you can check those out if you want. Alright, I'm just going to duplicate this background right there. Now it's background copy. And to get started on this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to UVs. I'm going to, let's see, reference images here. Let's select this here. Or wait a minute, let's see if I can find a better one. I think I can find a better image here. Alright, we're going to use this one here. Okay. I'm going to take this, throw it into Photoshop, and what I'm going to be focused on right now is this area right here. I want to have sort of a background image for the UV image here. What I'm going to do is delete some of this here. Oops, okay, wrong layer. Alright, delete some of this, delete some of that, delete some of this, and let's use the healing brush to, actually no, I'm going to use the patch tool inside of Photoshop, and I'm going to get a selection around this letter in here. Oops. Yeah, a selection around the letter and around that name, and then I'm just going to move this over to about there. And let's see, does that look right? I think that looks right. Except this area. There's one area that I don't think it looks perfect. It's this area there. Then that area here. So there. Okay. So now with this, what I can do is, first of all, let's take a look. Let's remove this layer from the view, turn it back on. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this layer here. I'm going to call it background. I'm going to hit Control J to duplicate that layer. And I'm just going to hit Control J, Control J, Control J, like that. Keep duplicating the layer. Keep duplicating it. Keep duplicating it like 12 times, I think, or something like that. And hide this UVs layer, and I'm just going to hit Control Shift E. That's going to merge all visible layers down to one layer. So now if I lower the opacity to this, you would see our UVs underneath of it. And I just want to make sure that you see these edges here, they're going to look pretty nasty, so I need to clean that up. I'm going to use the healing brush tool, and I'm just going to start fixing up these edges like this. There. Okay. This will take a little while. Not too long, actually. It's pretty simple. Okay. And the thing is, it doesn't need to look perfect because there's so many seams on our UVs that it's going to be hard to tell any variation in the texture when it comes to this material for the most part. So, just going to get it like that. And this is a smaller brush that I'm using. So now that I've got almost everything set up like that, I'm going to turn this brush up to something like 90. And this is going to be just to sort of disguise what's going on here. Alright. So I'm just using the healing brush to disguise those seams. or the those hard dark edges. Okay, so that is basically going to be our background texture. Now, if I were to save this out, so if we just went up to File, Save As, and save this out to like first UV texture.psd, save that out. Okay. Now, if you load it up, you put it on your model inside of Maya here, what we're going to see is the model here actually is, it has the texture applied to it. So that's pretty cool. And if we look at the top of it here, what we're going to see is that this doesn't look so great, and I need to go back over here. I'm going to change the opacity down a little bit, and we'll see these sort of streaks. And I'm just going to hit the, let's see here, the Heal and Brush tool, and I'm going to start trying to clean that up a little bit. Okay. Now, if I just hit save again, go back over here, go into the Hypershade, and I could press this reload button here, and that would load up what we see in Photoshop on top of our model. So if I just if I hide this layer, and then turn this opacity to the first layer, the background layer, to 100%, and I saved it, hit reload, what we would see is now that looks right. Okay, so I'm going to actually start working on the texture, and by, well, looks like we got a problem here. I'm just going to scale this down a little bit, like that, to cover up all the UVs. We were missing a few down there. Okay, I'm going to go to my reference images here. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to throw this in Photoshop, and instead of grabbing that small area, I'm actually going to grab the whole thing like that, and then paste it in here, change the opacity down to 63, change the opacity on this layer, grab our new layer here, and I'm actually going to delete some of these edges here. Alright, get it as down close to those buttons pretty much as I can. Then I'm going to put this, I'm going to scale it down a little bit, and then clean up some of that. Okay, I'm going to put it right about in there. Let's take a look at our reference image again here. Reference image, okay. So I need to basically look at this texture, look at our UVs and the reference image, and then make a decision on where it should land. Thinking about right there. And then I'm going to turn the opacity back to 100% on these two layers. Hide the UVs layer. And I'm going to merge these two layers. So Control-Shift-E to merge all visible layers. Instead, I'm going to use the Patch tool, and I'm just going to select some of these, this corner here, and I'm going to use the Patch tool, move it over like that. Okay. I'm going to select everything over on this edge of the model, or the UVs, and I'm going to use the Patch tool and get that like that. Everything up here, use that Patch tool like that. And then, you see, this doesn't look dark enough, it's kind of bright. So I'm going to go use the Burn tool here, and I'm going to turn down the exposure to something like 18, and then I'm just going to go over this, and then a little bit around it, like that. Okay, that should be good. Now if I hit Control S to save that, and we went back into Maya, and then hit the reload button, we would see that it looks like it's on there, so that's good. So if we actually take a look at our reference pictures here, we only really need to texture two more things on the model. This right here, and then this sticker. So if you'll notice where this power button is, the sticker needs to be on the opposite end of the power button. If you look at our model here, you can see that. Here's the power button on the opposite end. This is where the sticker would be. So I'm going to go back into Photoshop. I'm going to take a look at my reference pictures here. I'm going to take this reference picture 130 and I'm going to throw it into Photoshop. And what we're going to do is we're going to first work on the sticker. So I'm just going to copy that and then paste it over here. Okay. And I'm going to rotate it like that. And let's see, where did I put the sticker area? Okay, here it is. It's this area. This is the UVs for the sticker, I believe. Let me take another look. That looks like it is for the sticker. So I'm just going to get rid of these edges here. Like that and that. Let's get it a little bit closer actually. Okay. That should look good enough. And I'm just going to take this here and this area here, right here, this is for our sticker. That's where the placement for our sticker would be. And you'll see that I've hit Control S, and then I go back into Maya, and then I hit reload on that texture. You would see that red showed up right in there. So what we need to do is get the sticker right in there. I'm going to delete that brush stroke, and I'm going to take the sticker, scale it down, and let's fit it about right in there. Okay, just like that. That should do the trick. It's in there now. And if I turn the opacity up to about 100 here, and the sticker, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go drop shadow on the sticker layer, which I can rename it just so it looks a little bit cleaner to you guys. I'm going to call it sticker. I'm going to add a drop shadow by pressing this little F button here, and then we'll go drop shadow. And I'm going to change the opacity to something like 47. The angle can be 0. Or let me take another look at that. Okay, the size of it. Need to adjust the size. So I'm just going to give it a little bit. The distance actually I needed to adjust. Turn up the opacity. Turn down the spread a little bit. Okay, so that should look good. So the sticker is going to be about right there. If I hit Control S to save, go back into Maya, hit the reload button, now you'll see that there our sticker is right inside of that area. So that looks pretty decent. And now I'm going to go back over into Photoshop. And if we take a look, we need to get one more area here. So if I go into the reference materials, this right here, where the battery goes in, I'm going to get that textured. So I'm just going to open up my reference image folder, throw that texture here, use the border select, grab this area that I'm interested in, paste that into our work scene here, and let's see, I need to move this a little bit and turn down the opacity of pretty much all my layers here to get a look at this. So I've got to figure out this open and close where it should be exactly so it looks right when we texture it. Okay, I'm just going to rotate this like that. This should be the right way. And I'm going to scale it down. I'm going to delete some of these edges here. Okay, let's take a look, if I look at my reference pictures here, just how close this battery area is to the edges. It's pretty close to those edges. So I can scale this up a little bit more. Probably about right there. So back to the healing brush. I'm just going to start trying to patch this up a little bit. And then hit Control S, reload it. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video, guys. This is what the model looks like after we UV mapped it and textured it. So there you go. Not the greatest textures that I had here. They were pretty low res and the lighting wasn't really great, but yeah, that's pretty much it for our first video on how to model, UV map, and texture a remote. Thanks for watching, guys.